All right, to a guy who was shouting it long before anyone else was, Ron Paul, who has said this is the risk and problem with big government, big problems. Congressman, what do you make of these now latest revelations?
Well, I don't think they're brand new. I've assumed this has been going on. You know, in 2006, this was announced that they were doing this. And
by the way, Congress, we might stress that this part of the Patriot Act that allowed this to be done was something that then Senator Barack Obama opposed. But go ahead.
Oh, yeah. And, of course, there were a few of us back at the beginning of the decade, last decade, and we tried to point this out. But, no, I think it's been ongoing. So it's great when this news breaks so more people find out about it and get annoyed about it. But the only benefit I can see that comes from this is that people get disgusted with big government. Of course, you know, that's been my goal, is to convince people that they don't need big government to run a nanny state to take care of us, because they're always giving us perfect economic safety and security and equity and always perfect safety. But they can only do that with the destruction of liberty.
But they do it under the guise of protect you. In other words, these phone records that they gathered, 110 million plus Americans, it was just the phone records. They say, look, I mean, maybe this was a precaution coming as it did in April of this year, right after the Boston bombings, that maybe there's a threat that these records could be destroyed, so we want to have them all handy. No one's calls were being monitored. They have the numbers and who you called and when you called and how long you were on the call. But that's it. So calm down, America.
Yeah, and you know, even now after this story breaks, I still hear commentators on TV and radio and say, well, you know, we do want to be safe, and that's the government's job. The government's job isn't that.
Are you watching MSNBC again, Congressman? Tell the truth.
I might have seen a clip there. Maybe somebody put it on the internet or something. Right. I won't confess up.
Okay, all right. But no, you're right. In the guise of that, we do a lot of wacky things. What should we do now?
Well, what we have to do is get the American people, once again, to believe in self-reliance, limited government, believe in the Constitution, get an understanding of what the Fourth Amendment says, and get people with a little backbone. And I think it's coming, because what we're witnessing now is the failure of the state, the failure of the government, the failure of the Fed. The economic system is in shambles. Our foreign policy is in shambles. And this always leads to the undermining of civil liberties. We're in perpetual war for perpetual peace, and the real sacrifice is personal liberty. So it is a death struggle for our republic, and hopefully we wake up enough people.
I don't know, Congressman. To be fair and accurate to you, you were on this before anyone, but I'll tell you what. When the defense for all of this, on the part of those who, whether willingly or unwillingly or unknowingly perpetrated this, is that they had no idea it was going on, that speaks to your big government too unwieldy to deal with.
Oh, I know where the contest is, but where I was encouraged, you know, I ran in 08 and 12, and even in 08, I was condemning the Patriot Act. It would get one of the loudest applause, that in the Federal Reserve, on college campuses.
Yeah.
It's been in a campus like Berkeley and conservative campuses. So I work on the assumption you don't have to convert 51% of the people. You need leadership that will lead the way and get people to come along in the right direction. Most people are following the leadership, but they've been taught bad economics, bad foreign policy. They've been complacent. They're materialistic and think that the wealth is going to last forever. The Fed is going to take care of us. Debt will work, and printing money is going to solve our problems. But that's all coming to an end.
Absolutely.
So I'm delighted to see this, because with this, along with the IRS, let me tell you, there's a lot of people coming our way on being rather annoyed by this very intrusive government.
Well, you know, Congressman, I admire your backbone then. I really admire it now. You're dead on right. Thank you, sir. Good seeing you again. Or hearing you.
Thanks,